Hi guys, just wanted to run through a very quick video just explaining or showing you my interpretation of what external and internal structure means. As said, if you understand ICC, we always start on the higher time frames, and in this instance we start with the higher time frames to draw our external structure. And you can see on this example here, this is gold on the 1 hour time frame. You can see that I've already pre-marked these levels, and it's based on the swing points. And one thing else you'll notice as well is that I'm not drawing to the extreme of the wicks, I'm actually drawing to the bodies. From ways that I've previously traded in the past, I've always found that drawing levels from the body of the candle rather than the wick of the candle, it's just something that I've always been used to. If it doesn't work for you, you can definitely draw to the complete extreme, which is, you know, the swing high and swing lows where the wicks are. But in this instance, my preference has always been just to drawing to the bodies. So in this example, I haven't drawn, obviously the full chart. I'm just doing, the last 3 days. And also I think when you're looking at structure, you don't really want to go beyond more than 3 days. I think that would probably just be a little bit much, and probably too much to consider, too much information. It's just not necessary when you're trading ICC. So in this instance, I've drawn a swing point here, just starting from the last 3 days. Swing point here to this complete swing high, then back to this swing low, another swing high here, another swing low, swing high, swing lows. And then, with that information, you can then start to determine, okay, are we in an uptrend or are we in a downtrend? Now, based on everything that's just printed, if you were just to look from this part before, it would look like, we're definitely in a downtrend, right? Wow, look at that massive move. We're making lower lows and lower highs. But what's interesting, as time progresses, we know that when, just from the very simple fundamentals of trading an uptrend or trading a downtrend, if a swing low or a swing high is broken, that signifies potential change in direction. So in this instance, price was making lower lows and lower highs, but now what's happened is price has broken above the previous lower high, which potentially could indicate, at this time if we didn't have the data, could indicate that we might be moving in an uptrend. So from this point in time, that is the external structure. I've drawn that on the 1 hour time frame. So now what we do is we then go to the smaller time frames. So let's do that now. And we can analyze the internal structure. Okay, so if we were to analyze the internal structure, just say from this point onwards of the break of this previous lower high that we identified on the hourly chart, let's now draw out the internal structure. Okay, so let's draw that out now. Just get the Pathfinder tool. Where is it? Right here. Okay, so we create, there's a low, there's a high, there's a higher low, a higher high, a higher low, a higher high, a higher low. Oh, okay, so we don't have a new high, we don't create another higher high. Now we start breaking lower. So now this is a lower low. Probably should have drawn that to there, pardon me. Lower high, lower low. Okay, now we make we break that swing low, right? We create a higher low, and now a higher high. So does that make sense? I hope it does. So the white line is the internal structure and the grey line is the external structure. And what we're looking for is, if you're putting all the pieces of the puzzle together, all the pieces of the puzzle together, when I say that I mean the three phases, indication, correction and continuation. We know that on the external structure, I'll just delete, actually I'll just hide this for the moment. Okay. We know that on the external structure, we've created an indication. This is more of a break and retest, but you sort of get the idea here. And I'll show you, another example as well. But we'll just work with this one for the time being. So we've created the indication, which is phase 1. We've created the correction, which is phase 2. And phase 3 is the continuation. Okay? So then if I were to... So from this point onwards, when we're moving back into the correction phase, we're then looking on the internal structure to find characteristics, this is really important, to find characteristics of an uptrend. So if I were to bring that drawing back, what are the characteristics of an uptrend on the internal structure here? The characteristics are very simple. It's essentially the same thing what we outlined on the external structure, right? The characteristics here is that this swing low, this lower high, was broken, which indicates that potentially price has the potential to move bullish. And it does. Price breaks this lower high, right? Comes back lower, doesn't break this previous low. Those are the two clues. Price then breaks above this level. This is almost like a mini indication. This is a mini indication, right? Here. Indication, correction, continuation. That's it. But you have to be patient for it. Now, also to keep in mind, I told you in a previous video that I trade during the London session, and I rarely trade the New York session because it's too late. So I'm only really trading in one session, right? This unfortunately happened during the Asian session, which is a low session for volume in the first place. Sometimes it moves, and in this instance it did. No, that's great. But I don't do that. I don't trade that. However, let's also just further analyze this a little bit more. We know that this is now a swing high, right? So what we could do, we could also move this here, right? We'll draw it on the, let's go to the 60-minute and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, draw this here. Oh, okay, cool. Well, let's go down to a small time frame and just have a little review. Okay, so what have we created here? It's very interesting, right? We've created, we know that this is the swing point, right? If price breaks above this level, price has the potential to be bullish above this level. Price has the potential to be bearish below this level. We've already established that, okay? So what did price go and do here? Now this is a little bit tricky, because if you were to analyze the internal structure on this, right? Low, high, higher low. What does price going to do? Doesn't create a new high. Oh, but it doesn't break this previous low, does it? That's interesting. Okay, it doesn't break this previous high. Oh, that's saying that potentially it could be bearish, right? But then again, what happens here, price doesn't break this low, but it breaks this low, right? So we know that below this level on the internal structure, price has the potential, if it breaks below this level again, it's bearish. Again, we're not taking these trades because it's the internal structure and it's lower probability, okay? But what actually happens here in this instance, which is a little bit tricky, right, is that it actually doesn't break this previous low and price shoots up above here. But we've got to remember, right, the external structure says that we're in an uptrend. And if price isn't actually breaking this swing low, and price is now actually starting to shoot up above here, the likelihood that we know that there's more potential for there to be buying above this level. And if you look at the sheer length of these candles, it means that there's a lot of volume going in here. And also, this is within our time frame. I said that we start at 3 a.m., which is 3 a.m. New York time. This is a session that I would be interested in, right? It's not the easiest trade. So we just got to remember that. However, there also was another trade, but I didn't take it because it was around news. And I believe it was off. Let's just quickly have a look at the 60-minute time frame. Just reset that and let's have a look. So we'll draw that. Draw this point of interest back to where it was. Okay. Again, let's keep in mind uptrend, indication, correction, another indication, correction. We know that below this level, price has the potential to be bearish. But we know that above this level, based on the indication, price has the potential to be bullish, right? Okay, keep that in mind. Price below this level has the potential to be bearish. Price above this level has the potential to be bullish. Okay? So, you could take this trade for the bulls because we know the overall structure, the absolute overall structure based on just these pieces of evidence here, the overall structure is considered an uptrend. Right? That's debatable. It's a riskier trade because really what's happening is price is actually just consolidating on, if you were to look at a 4-hour chart, like let's do that. If you were to look at a 4-hour chart, you would say, well, price is actually just consolidating. It's not really doing anything, right? Whereas this is making clearer, higher highs and higher lows. So if you were to, review it in that manner, price is consolidating. But if you were to review it on a 60-minute chart, which is still fine, I use the 60-minute chart primarily, you could take this trade for the buyers. Again, what's the reason? We know that, again, above this level, price has the potential to be bullish. Now, what does price go and do? If we then go and zoom in at this point in time on our internal structure, again, the 1 hour, this is our external structure. But let's go and review this, knowing full well that above this level, price has the potential to be bullish. We're going to the internal structure to look for uptrend characteristics. Okay? Let's do this. So, internal structure. Let's just go from here. There's a high, there's a low, there's a lower high, lower low, lower high, price, the body doesn't close below this level, right? Interesting. So it's almost equal lows, consider it, if you don't consider the wicks, right? Then what does price go and do? It starts to become very bullish at this level. Now, I didn't trade this because it was news, and I don't trade the news. It's one of my flat out rules, because price is so unpredictable and at that time, and it's just a recipe for getting wicked out and losing a lot of money. So I don't trade it. Anyway, keeping that in mind, that's the 15-minute chart, internal structure. Let's have a look at the 5-minute to see if we can get some more evidence. Okay, let's gather this evidence. I'm just going to delete that 15-minute internal structure. Remember, price above this level has the potential to be bullish. So we're looking for characteristics of an uptrend because we know that the external structure indicates that price is in an uptrend. Okay? So let's look at this. Internal structure on the 5-minute time frame. Got a high, a low, a lower high. Oh, what's this? Price makes a, so this is technically a high, this is a higher low now. This is now a higher low because it doesn't break this low. Price then makes a higher high. Oh, we've broken structure. We've broken structure for the characteristics of a downtrend. Okay, well there's two signs now. There's two signs that we might potentially be in an uptrend. What happens next? Excellent, we've confirmed further that price potentially is now bullish on the internal structure. Because, why? Low, high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Characteristics of an uptrend, isn't it? Right? Price gets above this level. If this wasn't news, I'd be in. I would well and truly be in. Price gets above this level, this is what I do. So we're entering here. Bang, right there. Where do I put my stop loss? Excellent question. Usually, you can go below this swing low. I usually go the next swing low. But if there isn't one, it's usually this one. So, we're taking a long trade here, a long position. Stop loss below this swing low. Okay, I'm targeting 50% of the high from the indication made on the external structure. So 50% of that. So from, sorry, let's go to the 15-minute chart to make it a little bit easier to see. Oops. Okay, so this is the indication, this level here. Sorry, this is the indication. If this is how many ticks? It's 800 ticks, roughly. Okay. First target is going to be 400 ticks. 400 ticks is literally this swing high. Is literally this swing high right here. Right here. So first take profit's going to be there. Okay. Wow, when that hits, go back to the 5-minute. I'm taking risk off. I then move my stop loss below this swing low. Price, really, if price is in a true uptrend, price should not come below this level. Okay? Overall target. The overall target is this swing high. Again, I draw my targets from the bodies. So let's zoom in just so I can show you. Excuse me. So we've already taken profit here on the first target. And the last and final target would be the top of this swing high. Okay? That's what we're looking at. And that's it. I'm just going to leave it there. If you've got any questions, or if there's potentially something that you would like to highlight to me that potentially I'm not picking up, or if there's something I can better explain, just let me know. I'd be more than happy to do that. If you did like this video, please give it a like. And if you have any requests for type of content you'd like me to discuss further, let me know in the comments. And if you really like the video and you really like the content, please hit the subscribe button. I'd be very appreciative. Anyway, thank you so much for your time.